They said that Branded could only go for 7, 8, 9, even 10 disruptions if you're lucky enough, but then something snapped. The lines between Fury and Madness blurred and I ended on up to 14 disruption. What you're about to witness is not a combo, it's a fucking warning. Let's dive into this, as I'm starting this off with a grass looking green, as we have a huge mill here. We mill basically everything we want. Retribution, we have the Bestial Rebellion engraved, you have the Shrouded, you have multiple copies of Albaz, but there is a slight problem that we milled all 3 targets of the Bestial Rebellion. You have Beast, you have Regained, lost all of them in the graveyard, but we can solve this later. So I'm going to special summon the Albion Shrouded onto the field, sending the Branded Sword to the graveyard, which is very needed in the graveyard, okay? Maybe you're thinking, why would you not just use the kit to search, then return the Branded Sword, then use the Albion Shrouded to resend the Branded Sword into the graveyard? And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm not counting on Branded Fusion at this turn, because the Branded Fusion will limit your ceiling, okay? If you use the Branded Fusion after the grass, you're most likely ending on the same amount of disruption you're ending on with a single Aluber, possibly, almost, okay? But if you have all these guys in the graveyard, why would you go Fusion Restricted when you can go all the way with no Branded Fusion, with an extra gas? That's the intention, and that's why I special summoned that Shrouded onto the field as an Albaz name. Body, level 8, contribute with a Bestial Rebellion to special summon. Also, it's an Albaz on the freaking field. If they have a Bestial, if they have any sort of a disruption that special summon onto the field, we can actually make plays with that Super Poly in hand and Albaz on the field. So there was a tactical decision to get that Albion on the field. If we haven't used it for that purpose, I'm just going to use it at the end of the turn, as I'm going to showcase for you. Okay, we have the Branded Retribution, recycling the engraved Branded in white. I'm not going for Branded Fusion as I told you, as now we go for Albion. Albion, Fusion Summon, come forth, then go for a Sanctifier Dragon, banishing the Quem and the Albaz, and we banish the Quem because we have Sword Engrave, recycle the Quem since we haven't used our normal summon yet. Very good, okay. Then, now we tribute over the Albion, get in the graveyard, we have the Rebellion, but as I told you, there is no target for Bestial Rebellion, thus, I'm going to make a cool trick with the Springen's Kit. Springen's Kit, special summon onto the field, get the Branded Beast from the graveyard, return it back into the deck, and now we use the Bestial Rebellion, set the Branded Beast, which will reset the Branded in white face up during the end phase of this turn, and during the end phase of the next turn, you're going to set the Branded Lost, okay? So this was a cool trick. Now normal summon the Quem, send a Cartesia because we haven't accessed the Cartesia yet. We now use the Sanctifier and Kit to make an Anaconda since we haven't used the secondary effect of Quem yet. Sanctifier, come forth. Then now you will get rewarded for your bodies, and now we're going for the Disbian Lulu. Okay, we're not done. We only just begun. I told you this line, you'll get rewarded for everything. Like that's crazy. Like, bro, you're going to see. Now we merge it, okay, and within this window, the Disbian Lulu is going to ask you, would you like to negate a face-up card on the field? And hell yeah, you're gonna say yes. I want to negate my Mirror Jade to send a Rimbram or a Albaz Fusion to the graveyard and have the Mirror Jade activatable during the next turn again. So Disbian Lulu, negate the Mirror Jade, non-target, and gain a boost, send the Rimbram, and now the Mirror Jade is now activatable again during the next turn, okay? Set the Super Poly, set the Branded Banishment, the Branded Beast, reset the Branded Regain face up onto the field, add the Ecclesia, further add back the Cartesia, and how many disruptions is this? this is going to be quite confusing. So let's start with the simple disruptions first. Like a Mirror Jade non-target monster banish. The Lulu could negate a face-up card on the field if a monster leaves the extra deck. That's double disruption. The Mercury could negate a monster effect, a treble disruption. The Super Poly is a disruption, and the Sanctifier, if you are going to disrupt the opponent from interacting with the graveyard, I can count the Sanctifier as a disruption as well. But if you are using the Sanctifier to reborn the requirements of the Dragon Lord onto both sides of the fields, then using the Super Poly to go into Dragon Lord. So the Super Poly backed up with the Sanctifier is a triple disruption instead of just 2. Okay, so how many disruptions are we on so far? You have Mirror Jade, you have Lulu, you have a Sanctifier backed up by Super Poly for a Light and Darkness Dragon. That's 5 disruption. You have Mercurior, negate a monster. That's a 6 disruption so far. And with the Golden Sword Soul in graveyard, that could reborn the Cartesia to fuse with the Mirror Jade, to then use the Branded Banishment, reborn the Mirror Jade for another non-target monster banish. Then you could perform a fusion summon afterwards with the opponent's side of the field to go for a Dragostapelia potentially, or a Chaos Star Source to pop a multiple cards on the field. So this banishment alone could go up to 3 disruptions with its own, and so far we're at 7 disruption backed up by the banishment is a up to 10 disruption. And the Branded Beast could pop any card on the field during the main phase. That's 11 disruption. And if you're going to use the Branded Beast to be used with the Drew Swarm, you could send an extra special summon monster when controls to the graveyard. So that's 12 disruption so far. And you have the Brimbrum reborning in Albaz, the fusion summon on the opponent's side of the field into a form of disruption like a Dragostapelia or a Star Source to pop cards on the field. That's 2 disruptions. 14. Up to 14 disruptions. Okay, I'm not saying they are exactly 14 disruptions. Some of these disruptions I hard drew them. I hard drew the Super Poly, I hard drew the Mercurior. But even with a hard drawn, usually when you end on disruption with a Branded Dispia, some non-engines you end on, you have hard draw them like Super Poly, any hand trap. We haven't played any hand trap in this deck, only hard drawn Super Poly and Mercurior. So even if you cut those disruptions, we're still going to end on a 10 plus disruptions if you cut the hard drawing card I hard opened. Okay, up to 14 disruptions seems good. Let's go. And this is against Tempai, so I fired the Branded Banishment for an early Dragon Lord, but we got fingered. But I mean, you could just use the Sanctifier effect to reborn the fingered Albion into either side of the field, then perform a fusion summon. But I prefer to wait, honestly. Finger the Albion, I do not care. Then I'm going to use the plan B I told you about. Okay, recycle the Albion, draw into another disruption. I'm not going to count a Bystials as a disruption against Senpai. Now we make plan P. Summon onto each side of the field and summon the Drew Swarm. I'm not waiting for the Branded Regain to summon the Drew Swarm onto the field. I'm going to summon the Drew Swarm onto the field right away to make the Beast alive. Okay, you want the Beast alive because this Bystial is going to be used as a fusion summon for a Dragon Lord right here and now with a Super Poly. We're playing against Tempai, so we don't want to deal with an early board breaker, so we want our negate as soon as possible. Okay, our triple Omni negate, and now, maybe you're thinking now the Dragon Lord is blocking the fucking Mercurior, but bro, it's your fucking job to deal with the Dragon Lord after you use its negates. That's on you. Okay. If you're not able to do that, just simply don't play Dragon Lord, okay? But in our case, we can actually use the Branded Beast to tribute the Dragon Lord after it uses negates. It's not that big of a deal. Also, with the Golden Sorcerer reborning a Cartesia, we can just simply Dragon Lord. So easy, okay? not that big of a deal. And negate, and now the final negate. Okay, and now we get hit by a lightning storm, which would usually want to chain Mirror Jade for it to send an Albus fusion to the graveyard, but in my case I just didn't care because I still have a fucking Rimbram in graveyard for an additional disruption, and that's what is crazy about the unrestricted branded. Unrestricted branded will guarantee you that your disruptions is not in just one place or two places, where you, if you get a lightning storm or a Geki, if you get any sort of board breaker, you just don't care because you have disruptions in your monster zones, you have disruptions in your back row, you have disruptions in your hand, you have disruptions in your graveyard. You are not solely reliant in one place to disrupt your opponent, so you basically don't care with any sort of board breaker. I'm just telling you right now, if you get a Harpy Feather Duster backed up by a Rai Geki and your field has completely been cleared, you still have like from 5 to 6 disruptions after your whole field got wiped. That's the crazy part. Okay, so I'm not going to bother use the Mirror Jade with this. Keep the Dragon Lord to block everything, and he simply had one card in his hand. If this card is a Chandra, I'm just going to pop it with a Branded Beast. If it's a Kaimin, I'm just going to fuse with it with a Rimbram, Reborn, and Albaz. So not that big of a deal. And the follow-up is insane. Like, we have drawn a card, we have a Bystial Magnamod to search, we have the Branded Regain, which have drawn us a card. The Branded Beast would have set a Super Poly face up on the field. You have the Shrouded as a follow-up, Cartesia will add back. You have the what is it called? We have the Retribution for our next turn. You have Lulu, which will summon a Quam during the end phase. You still have a Grand Wignull in the graveyard. Like, bro. Okay. And that's such a Chandra, easy pop, and followed up by a... So this is basically a full gas hand as well, but with no grass. But despite not having grass, I'm going to end on a similar inboard as the one we did before, but without grass. Okay, because this hand is crazy good if you are playing unrestricted. Let's go. We're going to start this off with a Chaos Space, sends an Albion to the graveyard. Okay, and don't activate that Albion until you special summon the Cartesia. Okay, from here, searching for our Serenir with the Branded High Spirits is going to search for our Quam. Okay, as the Serenir sends a Branded Retribution, and the Quam normal summon the Mercurier to then banish, and then search for a Cartesia and Chinlink block it with a Magnamon. Okay, and if you see your opponent sends a Mercurier to then banish with a Bystial, you must know that they're most likely being on a Branded Synchro, and if you don't use your Ash to negate the Mercurier surge, you maybe just save your Ash for the next turn, as there is no clear choke point to use the Ash Blossom on after this effect. Believe it or not, that after you banish the Mercurier with a Bystial, the Ash is just dead. It's just dead. It's gonna be used on literally nothing. And if you're thinking that maybe saving the Ash Blossom during the end phase to negate an Albion, setting a Branded Spell or Trap is a good idea, no, it's not, because we are going to end on a fucking disruptions. We're going to end a fucking real disruptions. How is this Ash even good? It's trash. So remember to Ash Blossom the Mercurier if you use the Mercurial to maybe it's a risky Ash. They maybe follow up a branded fusion to then use Scoop afterwards, but I don't know if you use Ash Blossom on the Mercurial, they can go for Anaconda, they can go for a Dissipator. The Ash Blossom won't be so helpful, so sometimes you got to make risky decisions, you know? Some people are playing Branded Synchro this day, and the deck is doing well. Me myself, I've faced a lot of players that plays a Branded Synchro, and actually it was I was pretty proud to face those Giga Chads, and yeah, Branded Synchro it's just built differently. It's just built differently. It's unexpected. The opponent has no idea where he should use its hand traps, because if they use their hand traps on one piece, it's still fine. You just don't care. Honestly, there's no clear choke point for your combos. Okay, maybe Nibiru could save them, but most of the time we get to make an early Baron de Fleur to play around in annoying hand traps like Nibiru, so it's not that big of a deal. So summon the Cartesia onto the field to then go for a Dissipator. Okay, Dissipator, summon, then Quem, summon the Cartesia back again onto the field to use its fusion summon effect. Then with the Dissipator, we get a Mercurial onto the field. Mercurial here is not with the idea of being a monster negate, but it's just a body on field, because we will get rewarded, as I told you, for every body we have on field. You get rewarded for it because you're open to link summon, to synchro summon, whatever you want. Okay, so tribute that Bystial, summon a Bystial Billion, get a branded regain to use then the Baldric to get an additional draw, banish, special summon, draw into a Saronir, and we haven't used Saronir to banish yet, so get that Baron de Fleur, and now we can go for a Grand. And if you see here, we have a Retribution, we have a Shard Dragon, which we haven't used its effect yet. We can send a Branded in white, but then we don't have an Albaz Engrave to work up with a Branded white, thus we have to send another Albion Shrouded with the Grand. Okay, send, then use one of the Shrouded, get back the Branded in white, and from here we go for our boss being the Mirror Jade. Okay, and remember, don't summon on the fucking extra monster zone, because you want to make an Anaconda. Okay, if you summon the Mirror Jade in the extra monster zone, you either will give up on the Anaconda or you will give up on the Mirror Jade to make an Anaconda. Okay, unless you have a Quem which hasn't used its secondary effect yet, where you could just link summon with the Mirror Jade in the extra monster zone and another body for Anaconda, then Quem reborns the Mirror Jade again. Other than this, don't summon in your extra monster zone. Okay, have the Mirror Jade, and now we have the second body for the Anaconda. Okay, make the Verte, and now we make a Sanctifier Dragon by sending a Golden Sword Soul and an Albaz. Okay, very well done. Now the Albion set the Branded in red as the Cartesia heads back, and the Drew Swarm for their app back. And how many disruptions is this? We have the Omni Monster Banish, you have the Branded Red, which could go into a form of disruption. We are at treble disruption so far. The Grand Wignol could summon a Lulu for a Quadra disruption. The Regain could reborn a Dissipator for a Monster Negate or Destroy. That were 5 disruptions so far. And this is a Branded Mirror, so I will count the Bystial Saronir as a form of disruption. We're at 7 so far. The Golden Sword Soul could reborn a Quem to then work up with the Cartesia to special summon and perform an additional fusion summon into a, let's say, a Dragostabelia. You can go for a Chaos Star Surge Dragon. You can go for so many stuff with this this field. Also during the Next turn, we're gonna have to a bit of decent follow-up through the chaos space, recycling a banished light or dark extra deck to draw a card. You have the Mercurial to banish with a Bystial. You have the Grand Wignol being recycled with the Branded Regain to draw a card. So you maybe have like up to 10 disruptions, not counting the follow-up. Okay, depending on how you're gonna play this out, it's up to 10 disruptions. Okay, have 10. Now he's special summoning the Albaz with the fusion deployment. Discard the branded sword to fusion summon, and this is where you have to just use the Mirror Jet to banish. And with the banish with Mirror Jet, we get an additional 2 disruption through the Rimbram. Reborn the Albaz to fusion summon the opponent's side of the field. So we're at up to 12 disruptions, and I haven't counted the Sanctifier. Because there is not a clear usage for a Sanctifier. I don't know what I'm going to make with that Sanctifier. I'm just leaving it there because sometimes in a different scenarios, this card is posted to disrupt the opponent from interacting with the graveyard, stealing a nice pass from the opponent's graveyard, or even in mirror match. In mirror match, every piece they send to their graveyard, you can use their pieces as ours. So that Sanctifier being on the field, it's not a clear form of disruptions, but it's a form of disruption. Whether you believe, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it's a form of disruption. Sanctifier. You can it get used to you maxi the finger, you dodge, it's you Mercurial, then dodge, or even better, you could reborn the Mercurial onto your side of the field and give them a maxi or an Ash Blossom onto their field. So this is up to 12 or 13 disruptions. Okay. We banish that Albaz and special summon the Despair onto our side of the field. Okay, they recover the Albaz to then normal summon and contact fuse our field with an Alblanidis, which is just going to be the Despair, which I believe it was. I rushed with the Branded Regain to reborn the Despair. I should have waited, since they have sent a branded sword with the Albaz, which means that I banish the Albaz, they grab it with the branded sword, normal summon it, then contact fuse with the Despair. So I should have waited, but unfortunately I didn't pay attention that they discarded a branded sword. So that's why I activated the Branded Regain. Otherwise, if I paid attention to the branded sword, I wouldn't have waited on the Branded Regain and just keep the Despair in graveyard for another time. Yep. Now a Cartesia special summon, and I'm just going to let him combo off. We now have the Grand Wignol summon as they chain a branded opening to summon a Oliver. We now have Lulu for an extra deck monster negate. Also, we recycle our one of Grand Wignol, and yeah, what the heck is this? Yeah, we play just Tyrman Shiren in our deck. It's just Shiren, no other tier limits. Shiren, it's a very excellent tech for the unrestricted branded variant, since it's a free special summon. You get to send your Albaz from the hand to the graveyard to special summon the Cartesia. It mills 3, which could potentially mill a good mills if you mill a Retribution or a Sword or even an Albaz. It's also good to recycle your one of fusion pieces from the graveyard. So in this build, I'm playing just one Mirror Jet. One Mirror Jet is risky, okay? So with 2 copies of Sharon, you could send with the branded fusion the Sharon for a Libelling Searing, then recycle your one of Mirror Jet for a Dragostapelia, okay? You could fusion summon with the Cartesia to then trigger the Sharon again to perform another fusion summon. While the Sharon is on field, if you get Nibiru, you get to recover afterwards by performing a fusion summon from your graveyard. So this Sharon is an excellent tech in the Synchro branded variant. So just keep it in mind. Special Summon the Cartesia, and we now have our Grand Ignol, which will I'll just use my first negate to negate the Grand Ignol and boost our field. Negate, and that's a non-target negate, by the way. Okay, so even if they are protected, you could just negate anything. Now, Burn the Floor on the Branded Fusion is risky. Why? Because they have a Retribution, they can activate the Branded Fusion again, but my idea was, if I wait on that Branded Fusion, most likely they are not going for Albion. If they are going for Albion branded, you could just wait to negate with a Baron the Floor instead of delaying into the window of them having a Retribution to use the Branded Fusion again. But I was forced to negate because you don't want to deal with Libellion. Libellion, since Tragedy or a Bystial Saronir will chain link block the fusion summon from being negated. So they will have the Mirror Jade, and if they have Mirror Jade, you are forced to negate the Mirror Jade with a Baron the Floor, which then triggers to wipe your entire field to then use their Albion branded to then set a branded banish. So you don't want to deal with this, so you are forced to negate the branded fusion now and hope for the better that you don't have a way to access the branded fusion, which did not happen because they had a triple tactic thrust with a 2 branded fusion. This wouldn't have been possible before the fucking ban list. 2 branded fusions, that's it. You're asking, what does a 2 copies of branded fusion accomplish for your deck? That's it. Get negated on the first one, thrust into the second one. And now they have the branded fusion. Okay, we still have our disruptions. I'm not rushing into my disruptions, I'm just going to use them correctly, you know. Now they have the Albion, they will force to, if they want to use Mirror Jade, they have to banish the Grand Ignol in order to keep the Albion branded on field to then tribute over the over it to summon the Bystial Libellion. Okay, banish the Grand Ignol alongside the Albaz to have the Mirror Jade. Okay, and now they're going to non-target monster banish. I had like 200 seconds on timer, yet I didn't bother use the Albion to reborn body onto either side of the field because, I mean, bro, who cares? I don't even want to trigger my Albion. Just banish it. It's yours, okay? I'm just going Chaos Space, return it back to the extra during the next turn, draw a card. Who cares, okay? I still have disruptions. Banish that Albion. We have now the Golden Sword Soul to recover. Special Summon the Cartesia, and our Rimbram is going to Chain Link 2, Special Summon the Albaz to then Fusion Summon the Cartesia. Why wouldn't I just summon the Albaz and fuse with their bodies on field? I don't know. I'm just chilling. I'm not taking this duel seriously because I have so many disruptions. So I don't have to be greedy and use the opponent's body to fuse. I just want to fuse with mine, and that's it, you know. I'm not going to have the Albaz. Maybe if I want to use the Albaz, I'll just use the Grand Ignol to send the Titan Clad to then have the Titan Clad special summon the Albaz to fuse with their field at the end phase. I can do that if they force me to do it. Otherwise, I'm chilling, you know. Fusion summon. Now we have our Albion. Albion will go for a Libellion Searing Dragon, then into our form of disruption, which is a Chaos Star Source. Chaos Star Source maybe suck at this point because they have a branded opening to protect their fusion summon, but my idea was I wanted to bait them into using the branded opening now, so the branded opening doesn't be a bane in my ass later. Okay, so I just wanted him to just forcing the branded opening. Pop the Albion alongside the Mirror Jade. They haven't responded because maybe they're thinking, oh, they are going to destroy my Mirror Jade. This means their whole field getting wiped. And maybe they're thinking after my field gets wiped that now they have a chance. But hell no, they don't have a single chance. I don't care about this field. You wipe this field twice at the same turn, I will build a more busted field at the same turn. Who cares? We have so many gas, okay? So who cares at the wipe? And since they activated the Cartesia first at the end phase, within this window you banish the Albion before it activates, okay? So banish the Albion, add the Cartesia to the hand. Now add the Branded in High Spirits, add the Cartesia. Now our field gets wiped, and from here the Saronir triggers to send a Branded Retribution or a sword. Our Mirror Jade also triggers. The Albion triggers to set up a Branded Banishment. The Lulu triggers to summon a Quem onto the field. We haven't used Quem yet, sending a Branded Sword to recover a Alba's monster. And now they're using the opening at the wrong moment. You see? So if they had Mirror Jade on field, that would have been so much annoying to deal with a Mirror Jade, because then your field gets wiped. But if your field gets wiped now and you still have another turn, then you're just fine, okay? And from here there is nothing honestly they can do, because we're just sitting on all the gas. Branded Fusion sends a Shiren alongside the Albas Fusion Summon. Activate Shiren, activate Quem, reborn the Mirror Jade. Shiren go for a Gragwignol. Gragwignol, I don't know, man. This is have the Titan Clad for a more lethal damage, as we send the Bystial ability to trigger over the Titan Clad if they have a way to stop lethal damage. Now we just recycle our pieces, recycle the Rimbron, throwing into a Chaos Creator, which could banish 3 bodies from grave to then and regain also triggers to special summon. And yeah, you just it's literally literally, if they wipe your field twice at the same turn, you can literally just rebuild your field like nothing happened. And with this hand or any branded hand you open, you have to ask yourself the biggest question: how do I use this hand to play around Ash Blossom? And the first thing you have to do is check for the Ash Blossom, okay? Or if you're playing at the highest ranks, you don't actually have to check on the Ash Blossom, since most of your opponents will be simply on toggle off. They won't show you that they have Ash Blossom. So you either check for it, or you either assume the worst, that they have it. But otherwise it would be more safer to play around the Ash, whether the Ash check was positive or negative, okay? In this instance, I'm going to summon the Quem, send a Shard Dragon. And people are asking, why the heck would I send Shard Dragon? I just have a Shard Dragon in my hand already. But I'm just wanting the Cartesia to be alive, right? And then I want the Shard Dragon in my hand for a desperate draw. I want to draw a something good, okay? At the same time, you have the Cartesia alive, and summon the Cartesia, and now we are drawing 1, okay? And my idea here is using the Effect Veiler. If I didn't draw to something good to be used, or something to be used with the Cartesia as a fusion summon, I'm just going to take one of the 2 Veilers for a Grandwignol summon, to then activate the Quem, reborn the Cartesia again, then go for Anaconda, okay? And then with the Saronir, we send off of the Grandwignol. I'm just going to recover a Branded in Red or a Branded Banishment. We'll see. I send a Branded Retribution with the Shard Dragon, and now I'm going for a Grandwignol. Grandwignol sends Quem, special summon the Cartesia, alright? And we send a Saronir. Saronir could send a Branded in Red, a Branded Banishment, or a Branded Lost. It's whatever you like, okay? In my case, I was going for a Branded in Red play, add the Branded in Red, to then get ready with that Branded in Red for the Anaconda, okay? I will go Anaconda. If they imperm the Anaconda, Branded in Red will dodge by grabbing the Engrave Albion Sharded, that is, okay? And dodge the imperm on Anaconda by summoning a Moon Dragon, for example, okay? Otherwise, if they didn't imperm, the branded in red will be live as a disruption at their turn. Okay, but the unexpected happens and they ash this Saronir because they were thinking that I'm going for branded fusion, which is jokes on you. I wasn't even attempting to go branded fusion. Okay, who needs the brand fusion? So Saronir is negated, thus we don't get to recover a branded spell or trap with the retribution, but we still good. We're gonna making Anaconda with the Cortesia and the Granwignol. Okay, Anaconda is here. Special summon a Sanctifier by sending a Golden Sword Soul and a Fallen Albaz, and that Sanctifier is my signature play. He's my signature monster. Sanctifier plus a Golden Sword Soul and Cortesia equals a Chaos Star Source or a Mirror Jade and a Light and Darkness Dragonlord. Add the Cortesia and the branded fusion you were attempting to negate with the Ash Blossom. Now it's on our hand for the next turn. Okay, and we did blade through the Ash Blossom successfully. Activate the Golem, equipping the back row. We don't want to play into Gamma, even though no one is playing Gamma. You don't want to play into Fualos. That's why you want them to commit by having a monster on field. Then you fire your Sanctifier Dragon. Okay. Sanctifier, summon an Albaz and a Golden Sword Soul. Come forth Albaz and Golden Sword Soul, and now we fusion summon Albion. Trigger the Albion, chain link block with the Quem. Quem summons a Cortesia. Then we fusion summon into the Living Searing Dragon. Okay, Living Searing Dragon, activate, discard the branded fusion and Cortesia. Before the Living returns itself to the extra deck, we go into a Dragon Lord, and the Searing Dragon returns itself along with the Albaz to summon a Mirror Jade. Okay, negate, 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 and now we are on the final negate. And maybe you're thinking, why would I banish the Golem at the activation of the track so they don't get rid of the Dragon Lord negate? And this is the answer. Let's actually, do you see this? So this is the answer. If they are telling you, I want to go and take that Dragon Lord by battle, this is basically a trade. Okay, they are trading one Omni for a battle phase. This means that they won't be having lethal this turn. This means that the grind game is on, and this is one of the biggest tricks that branded decks makes. It's pulling your opponent into the grind game. It's a trick. Don't let the branded player pull you into the grind game. You have to end the duel early. Anyway, just don't allow them to go into the grind game because the branded follow-up is insane. Okay, so I didn't banish with Mirror Jade. I mean, you want to take the Final Negate, just take it. I still have multiple disruption. I'm good. Okay, take the Dragon Lord. Dragon Lord activates, reborn the Saronir for next turn in case we want to go for a synchro summon, right? Special summon Singenjin, equip the other Singenjin, activate the Diablo Star, Doom Dragon, activate the Mirror Jade, and honestly, I was thinking that maybe I want to banish my own Mirror Jade because I don't want Mirror Jade to be stuck in the back row, but in our branded synchro, we don't care if the Mirror Jade is stuck in the back row because we can get it out of the back row. Okay, I will show you how. Okay, send the Titan Clad for follow up next turn. Okay, and Mirror Jade is now stuck on the field. Snake Eye Ash, trigger the Gryugnol to summon a Lulu or a Quem. In this instance, I'm just going to summon a Quem for retribution follow up during the next turn. Since there is no lethal damage, you either want to convert your field into a disruptions or you want to convert it into a follow up for the next turn. Since he already battled, so I just want follow up during the next turn. I don't care about disruptions. I have 2 Veilers, I'm safe. Just prepare for the next turn. Okay, Veiler on the Snake Eye Ash is necessary. Also Quem summon, send a retribution for next turn. We're not going for Lulu. We have this, one of the Closed Heaven into a Requiem. into the Crema sends an engraver. This is standard, and the other Veiler is obviously going for the sequence. Snake Eye, Fiendsmith sequence got negated. Now he goes for the Promethean Princess, Reborn the Oak, hasn't activated yet. Reborn the Ash, activate, summon a Flameburst, equip the Masquerade into the back row. And now they go into SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight will activate to banish. I mean, what do you wanna banish? Like, this follow up for next turn. If you banish any spell or trap, I will just grab it. This is a follow up. 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 I mean, whatever you banish, it doesn't matter. It's too late. He's going to banish the Albion. Obviously, it's the best target. And just like that, add the Albaz, add the Cartesia, and that's it. Now it's our turn. Top deck into a Bystial William, best top deck ever. Use the Espiral Knight, banish the Saronir so it doesn't get engraved and sends another Brand Spiral Trap, but who cares, we search another Saronir. And because a monster was banished face up, that triggers the Golden Sword Soul, summon a Quem sends a Mercurier, and this is Saronir banish that Mercurier to search for a Shadow Dragon, search for anything you want, but we want the kit to recycle, and now we go for the Spitter. Spitter now is live, we can negate. And now he's going to use Promethean Princess to pop the Despair, which we simply can just negate. Return the SP Little Knight. Thus, our Saronir is going to return back into RP during the end phase, but the SP Little Knight is not. Shuffle the SP Little Knight is very huge. Summon the Linkuriboh, which is just useless here. Okay, summon. Now we summon the Albaz to summon the Bystial Saronir, and now we go for a Baron on the floor. With that Baron on the floor, we simply pop the Mirror Jade, and from there they scoop. And this is another replay against Spright with a mid hand. Let's just count the disruptions once they are finished. So this is basically SB double banish. They could pop a spell or trap on the field, they could negate a spell or trap, they could negate a special summon like Anaconda or Despair, which is inherent special summon. So yeah, they also have a set private knowledge card. So our main play, hey, this is our main play, and you gotta protect your main play. Sometimes it's for the better if you don't give the opponent what is he waiting for. This instance, the opponent is waiting for a branded fusion. Most of the times they are just waiting for a branded fusion. If not waiting with a disruption on field for the branded fusion, they are waiting with an Ash Blossom in hand. But there is no hand, as you can see, but still we're not committing for the branded fusion. We can just be as much as unexpected, okay, to even affect the opponent into making some wrong decisions because they have no idea what we are cooking, okay. But if you do branded fusion, they have all the thoughts of what you are going to make. They just know the combo you are just making. If you go branded fusion, unless you're protected by the loss, if you're protected by the loss, who cares? But with a branded fusion, they knows everything. But without branded fusions, you're the one who knows, who truly knows what you are doing. And this is my main play with a branded red. Thus I'm sending in Albaz with the Quem to make the Cartesia live and make the red light. You special summon the Cartesia, and here they chain the Masquerina. Why would they chain the Masquerina for the Cartesia? They chain the Masquerina for the Cartesia because If you summon the Cartesia, then you chain Masquerina, you then summon Cartesia, perform a fusion summon, then when Grand Guignol gets summoned, you get both of Grand Guignol effect. Sent from the extra, also summoned from the deck, or summoned from extra, a Quiritis or a Lulu, which could beat over the Spright Carrot by battle. That's why you chain a Branded High Spirits for the Masquerina to get the Grand Guignol in graveyard either way. And this is where they negate with the Spright Carrot. This was maybe a bad negate, but they were forced to do it. Otherwise, they would have lost the Spright Carrot, because we would have summoned Lulu from the extra to negate an extra deck monster, which is the Little Knight. Then we could actually go battle phase, take over the Spright Carrot, then activate our Branded in Red to perform another fusion summon within the battle phase, crash another body, then Mirror Jade non-target monster banish. There was so much plays that could have been done, but maybe the High Spirits negate is not that bad negate, but it's not the greatest negate though. Okay, summoning SP Little Knight, and here I thought like I can actually trigger the Quem to reborn the Albaz, but I actually need Albaz in grave to use the Branded in Red with. So what is the play? And also there is an SP ready to banish any card on the field or in the graveyard. So instead of having SP targeting the Quem or the Branded Regain, that is, or the Cartesia when it gets summoned on the field, instead of this I just trigger the Quem to reborn the Albaz in a hope that they target the Albaz from grave to banish. Okay, if they didn't target the Albaz in grave to banish it, okay, I wouldn't have allowed the Albaz to be reborn. I would have just simply used the Branded in Red to fuse instead of Albaz being summoned. Okay, or otherwise you could just get the Albaz on field, beat over the SP, then simply make an Anaconda with a Branded in Red in hand. If they imperm the Anaconda, you Branded in Red dodge the negate. But in this instance I just wanted him to banish the Albaz to then outplay him with this play. So Quem reborn the Albaz, they took the bait and banished the Albaz, and this is where we chain our Cartesia at chain link 1. This is the only way. If you chain Branded in Red first, then chain Cartesia, you messing up the whole play. But you chain Cartesia at chain link 1 to perform a fusion summon, then you use the Branded in Red to add the Albaz with no fusion summon, because Branded in Red banishes the fusion materials, Cartesia doesn't. So you want Cartesia on chain link 1 and Branded in Red on chain link 2 to add the Albaz. Then at the last thing to resolve, it's going to be the Cartesia fusion summoning with the Albaz. Okay, make sure that you make the chain link order correctly. Branded in Red, they still have a summon negate, they also have a banish with SP Little Knight. Okay, and this is maybe why would you not SP Little Knight banish either the Quam or the Cartesia, because we're actually fusing into an Albion, not a Grand Guignol. We're making an Albion, we already have double light monsters. Okay, add the Albaz, fusion summoning. Remember, don't use the Branded in Red to fusion summon, using the Cartesia to fusion summon. Okay, then we have an Albion. They also is going to pop a Branded Regain because they activated the trap. Also the Spright starter will just search. It's not a starter, what is it called? Spright Blue, that is. Okay, then we make our Grand Guignol. So here we're not fusion restricted. We could still make Anaconda, but the problem is this negates. Thus we have to over one of our 3 bodies that we made sure to have exactly 3 bodies to make an Anaconda, because you want to get rid of this before the Anaconda, and when you get rid of this, its effect is destroying the monster who destroys it. So you want to have exactly 3 bodies, which we made sure to make. Also, we send a Titanclad for an Albaz fusion summon during the end phase if the Anaconda got negated. So Anaconda is plan A, Titanclad is plan P, right? Destroy. The Grand gets destroyed as well, as we now wipe out some bodies, and now we make an Anaconda. Anaconda is here into our Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade summon. Okay. Then activate, sends a Rimbram. We already sent Titanclad. We already have Albin. So Rimbram is the way. Banish the what is the Gigantic Spright, that is. And we have banishment. We have so many plays. We have Rimbram, Reborn Albaz, the Grand Wignol could summon a Quem from the deck or Lulu from the extra. So many plays that could be done at this point. Now they searches the Smasher, which is a non-target banish, just like a Mirror Jade. Thus, I'm using the Rimbram, Reborn the Albaz, Fusion Summon. Thus, we're using the Smashers to banish. Now we use the banishment to non-target banish the Gigantic Spright, which is the last copy. Now both Gigantic Sprites is going to be banished, and whatever they banish off of the Smashers non-targeting, we just don't care. Okay. They end up banishing the Lubellian Searing Dragon. We have the Quem, we have the plays, and that's it. GG's. And if you're still watching till this moment, just thank you for watching, and that's it. We're out.